Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
What do you say we take another trip back to Belfast, Northern Ireland on this episode of Private Club Radio? We're going back to the Club Leadership Summit to some of the live interviews that I conducted from the conference, and I've got a couple awesome people to bring you on this episode. So today we're going to chat with Rob Bray. He's the Chief Executive at Edgbaston Club. We're also going to talk with Mark Murray of Sport Changes Life and some of the exciting things that they're doing in that organization. And I should mention, if you have not heard part one of the Club Leadership Summit, you should go back to episode 102 of Private Club Radio and check that one out as well. It was a really good one. The Club Leadership Summit, of course, happened in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The conference was put on by the fantastic duo from Club Inc. of Doug Green and Neil Flanagan. And if you have not, please check out clubincorporated.com to learn a little bit more about Club Inc. and what they're doing with clubs in Europe and the UK. Our first guest is Rob Bray of Edgbaston Priori. Rob, welcome to Private Club Radio. Can you tell us a little bit about Edgbaston?
Well, Edgbaston is a very quite a well-known place in England because of the cricket. You're probably not into cricket too much, but in the Caribbean, they all know where Edgbaston is.
Do they really? Yeah.
West Indies playing cricket,
Okay.
So they don't know where Birmingham is.
That's pretty cool.
But they know where Edgbaston is. Edgbaston is actually in Birmingham.
So Edgbaston's actually a tennis club. You have a number of courts. You actually have a tournament that comes through. Can you tell us a little bit about the club?
Yeah, so it started as a tennis club back in 1875 actually. So it's a long established tennis club.
Yeah.
It added squash in the 1930s. And then it added leisure in the 1990s.
Wow.
And every year for the last 36 years, we've hosted a major international ladies tennis tournament called the WTA Aegon Classic. And former winners, many Americans actually. So Navratilova, Billie Jean King, more recently Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
And this year Petra Kvitova.
Wow.
Two-time Wimbledon champion. So
That's pretty cool. You have grass courts there as well, right?
that's right. Yeah. So we're sort of they're dying out really. Grass courts. They're not as commercially sustainable as all-weather courts.
Yeah.
So a lot of clubs have been replacing them, but no, we maintain ours, and we've actually developed and built some new ones recently. So we're in quite a niche now, but obviously it's all around the tournament really.
Right.
So and it's all there to support Wimbledon, which is still the number one tennis tournament in the world.
Sure. Yeah. Now, Rob, what I found interesting about your club is you have 3,000 members, and we're not just talking families. There's literally 3,000 memberships that you have, and for us, at least in the United States, that's quite a number. Most of our clubs, I'd say 300 to 500 in that range. So what is it like to kind of have to manage and juggle the needs of 3,000 different people?
Yeah, I suppose I don't know any different for a start. So
Sure.
Managing 300 to 500 would be very different. I like the sound of it. But no, both 3,000. I mean, the facilities are built around that. So we have quite big car parks, big changing facilities, and it's really key to try and spread the usage out throughout the daytime. So it's we find that we open at probably 6 o'clock in the morning, and there's people coming in then before work, and then you have the whole sort of spread throughout the day and into the evening.
Right.
So it can be busy, but we manage.
How do you choose what's on the menu? I mean, are you getting suggestions from all these different members? What's this? Let's start with what's the structure of the club? Do you have committees and a board?
Yeah, so it's a members club. It's a true members club. So it's not sort of owned by an individual or a company. Every member has a nominal share in it, and there is a board that I report into, so we have 12 on that board. I'm actually a member of that board, but I don't get a vote.
Okay.
So
honorary member.
That's right. Yeah. So then there's a couple of subcommittees. We have 2 subcommittees, one for tennis and one for squash.
Wow.
And then, but we have a big management team. So all of the sort of day-to-day operational management of the club is delegated to the paid staff.
Right. Yeah. How many restaurants are on the property?
We have sort of 3 areas really. So we have a lounge area, which is like a coffee type lounge. Mm-hmm. We have a bistro sort of dining area, and then we have a sports bar where most members want to eat in the sports bar.
Okay.
Relaxed dining.
Right.
Sort of in the old days they used to like the formal side of it, but that's I think look at the millennials and things like this. They don't want the formality of it anymore. They want to just be able to just walk in their tracksuit and grab a bar meal.
Yeah. Or do you have a suggestion box for these 300 members, or how does the communication travel of what people want?
So
and need?
we have a feedback system. Yeah, so they can feedback, and every month we say, you've told us this, and this is what we've done now. So,
right.
But I think ultimately we know we can't please everybody.
Sure.
So we try to respond and take action when it's appropriate to do so. But,
Right.
But we have to show strong leadership. I think that's what you have to do in a big club. You can't be told what to do by 3,000 members, otherwise you'd be going round in circles.
Yeah,
So you have to
that's
show.
right.
I think the board and the senior management team have to show some real strong leadership.
Yeah.
And put out there, listen to the members, and then put out there what they think they want, and listen to them.
Yeah.
And see what the feedback is.
What are some of the things that this new generation that's coming into your club, what are they looking for? I know you put in some indoor tennis courts for the wintertime and whatnot. And what other types of facilities are you building or planning on?
Yeah, I think it's time is. We call it time poor. They're time poor. The sort of the millennials, the family members. So yes, they might have the money. They live locally, but they just haven't got the time to spend too long at the club. So they want to be in and out. So, for example, tennis and squash are pretty good games for that. Because squash you can play in sort of 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. Tennis an hour or an hour and a half sessions we do.
Sure.
But a lot of the time now we're doing 1 hour sessions on court.
Yeah.
We're doing things like what's called Tennis Express, cardio tennis, and we do cardio squash.
Nice. Yep.
So that's like a group fitness class on court.
Yeah.
So it's a workout,
Right.
and that's going down. In fact, we're putting on more and more classes because they are just fully oversubscribed. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're having to expand our leisure facilities, and sometimes there's a bit of a conflict there because traditionally it's a rackets club, but actually, there's so much demand for fitness now that
Right.
we're having to build a new studio because we've got a big studio, but one's not enough. We need 2 studios to run at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Rob, I really appreciate you coming on and just kind of sharing some of that with us and getting to know about your club. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Really cool stuff from Rob right there. All right, let's bring up our next guest, which is Mark Murray. Well, I'm joined right now by Mark Murray. He is the founder of Chaka Travel, and he's also a co-founder of Sport Changes Life.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about Chaka Travel first, and you being a travel partner of the summit here.
Okay, Chaka Travel I formed 24 years ago, selling golf holidays into Africa primarily in those days. I was living over in Northern Ireland, and I wanted something to link me to home. I wanted to start my own business. I was in construction, and I thought I wanted to do what I love. So I formed Chaka Travel, doing stuff into Zimbabwe and then South Africa, on into Mauritius. And sort of we've always been exotic golf holiday specialists. We don't do very much into Europe at all. There's a lot of guys in a big bun fight over that market. And I always thought, no, I like flying over to more exotic countries and seeing things. So we had a lot of fun building a business, building a lot of friendships and partnerships all over the world.
Yeah.
I love travel. I'd spent a lot of time. I spent a summer in a camper van around Europe and did 12,500 miles around Canada and the States one summer. I bought an old car, took a girlfriend on a little journey, and it was a natural thing for me to get into travel.
Sure.
And being African, it was starting there but I always knew it would go on to be doing anything interesting. We're still thinking, like with Club Inc., they've been looking at this North Pole Challenge. That excites me. And somebody's going to play golf at the North Pole. I'm thinking, when am I going to get my clients to the moon?
There you go. So what are some of the trends you're seeing in terms of travel, and especially when we're talking about golf travel, luxury travel?
With ourselves, we're seeing, we've always been primarily sort of couples going away. We tailor-make quality holidays for them. But we found over the years, we're grouping people up a bit, 4, 8, 16, 20 people, small groups, but we put a pro, he goes out, nice guys, creates an experience where he's doing a bit of tuition, but it's all the good restaurants, all the little sites people don't really know about. And we're finding people liking to it. They don't come as a group to me. We package something together and say, who wants to go on this? And you get a whole lot of like-minded people who make good, lifelong friendships, and then start traveling again on the next one to somewhere new.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, let's talk about Sport Changes Life and the mission of that organization.
Sport Changes Life, our mission is very simple: raise the aspiration of young people. It's an organization based here in Northern Ireland, which we formed officially about 7 years ago. We set up as a charity here and as a 501c3 in the States, set up a board on both sides of the Atlantic. And we work in the communities with some of the toughest areas of Belfast, which is, some interesting areas.
Sure.
And we work and try and find those kids, which people aren't able to get to and reach out to, and get them back into engaging in a full life, whether it's being back into school, off some sort of substance, or just the ones who are just locking themselves away in the bedroom and depressed and that sort of thing. We've been very fortunate. We've teamed up with the Rory Foundation. We're one of their 3 partners.
Wow.
And Rory's been very good to us. He likes what we do. We sort of a bit nuts, Gareth, his wife and I. We always said we want to go big with this and international, and we started with America first. We're doing a bit in Dubai. Rory likes that. He wants to have the biggest sporting foundation. He always thinks big.
Right. Rory McIlroy, of course.
Yeah, and we want to, we're just so proud to be part of working with him to try and help him do a few things. So the charity, we do a lot of work here in Northern Ireland, but one of our key things Rory's involved with us is our Victory Scholars. These are young Americans who've been through college, and we give them a scholarship to come to both North and Southern Ireland, and now also into Dubai, to do their master's degree.
Wow.
We've just given away 100 scholarship.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And this includes flights, accommodation, books, a stipend every week. But the kids, we get a pound of flesh. They got to work on our programs with young kids in the community. And we see them as a magic ingredient where we go into an area and these kids see something very different. The local drug lord is no longer their hero.
Right. Wow.
And we use these American
Model.
students.
Yeah.
So we're in 10 institutions around Ireland now, colleges and universities. And sort of reaching into in other cities now into help these young people. We created a unique program which we've spent a lot of time researching. We've got a lot of very intelligent people from the sort of educational world working. How do you help these young people? And we use sport as a tool to get them to us. And then we do a lot of work on a personal development program over 6 months and longer. We never stop working with a kid till they want to stop working with us.
Yeah, right. Well, if folks want to find out more, maybe get involved with the organization, how do they do that, Mark?
Contact me. Get in touch with Sport Changes Life, and we'll find a unique way for you to get involved to suit yourself. We're online, sportchangeslife.com. We're doing some bigger and better events. We like to try and create things as a charity where we're not I had to say like a begging bowl. What we do is, like we just had here in Belfast this last weekend, 4 NCAA college teams fly in and play a tournament with live games in the arena here. We had about 10,000 people over the 2 days. A whole lot of fans flew in. We had CBS filming it and back into over 1 million people.
Yep.
And we had people in Manhattan and other cities and bars watching it live from Belfast.
Wow.
And these were part of the in-game season.
Special.
Yeah, referees, everyone, we had to fly in. And that goes to an 8-team tournament next year with games in America first, and the teams fly over here. It's going to a much bigger scale. That will, over the next few years, we've got a 3-more-year contract with the NCAA, and hopefully that'll just keep rolling. But that'll be a big money spinner for us, which is great. That helps fund our program. But more so, not only helping us do it, but it also allows us to bring all those kids and bring them to something and make them realize Belfast is a really cool place, and we punch way above our weight in the city. We do a lot of really interesting and innovative things here, and we like being part of that, showing off our city, bringing people here.
That's fantastic. Mark, thank you so much for joining me. SportChangesLife.com. Check it out.
That's it. Thanks very much, Gabe.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Private Club Radio. I'll catch you back here next week. And until then, here's to your membership success.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by the Private Club Agency. the premier marketing consulting firm dedicated to helping clubs increase and retain their membership. Visit privateclubagency.com to learn more.